Hey everybody, what's up? Fred McKinnon here with eComCatalyst. Today I want to tackle your top questions and answers about Amazon warehousing and distribution, AWD. I've been pitching AWD here on the channel for quite a few months, and I love the engagement from all of you that are watching these videos. I love your comments, your questions that you're sending via email and through social media. There's a lot of questions about AWD, and on this video, the purpose of it is to really dig into some of those specific questions that you have and give you the answers that you've been asking for. Now, if you're new and you're not quite sure what do I mean by AWD, it stands for Amazon Warehousing and Distribution. There's several videos on this channel, if you look through the videos, that discuss this in greater detail, where you can get better educated on exactly what Amazon Warehousing and Distribution is. But in a nutshell, AWD is where Amazon has these large reserve storage warehouses. These are warehouses, they don't ship out orders to individual customers from these warehouses. They're solely meant to be bulk storage warehouses. From those storage warehouses, then they will move inventory into the fulfillable warehouses. That's where your orders are actually shipping from. But the advantages of AWD is that you can send a lot of inventory there, and the storage rates are significantly cheaper, and you can send your inventory to AWD without having to deal with all of the inbound placement fees and split shipment issues that all the Amazon sellers have been experiencing this year. Again, lots of videos on the basics of AWD and how to get started, including one that I just released a few weeks ago that says why AWD is critical in Q4. If you've not seen that video, I would definitely encourage you to go back after this one and rewatch or watch for the first time my video on why I believe Amazon Warehousing and Distribution, AWD, is critical to Q4. All right, I want to get into these questions. Before I do, just a quick backup to introduce myself again. I'm Fred McKinnon. I'm the founder of eComCatalyst at eComCatalyst.com. We're a full service marketing agency for Amazon sellers, other third-party e-commerce channels like Amazon, Walmart, Wayfair, and your direct-to-consumer channels such as Shopify. So we help brand owners scale profitably to succeed in e-commerce channels. We do the marketing, the pay-per-click, the listing optimization, the SEO. We have an amazing in-house graphics team. We help manage your Shopify store, your TikTok shop, your Google shopping, your meta ads, an all-inclusive marketing agency for e-commerce. If you need help, visit eComCatalyst.com. You can schedule a free 15-minute consult. Let us know how we might be able to help you. All right, now let's just jump right into these questions. By far, the biggest question people ask is about the fee structure at AWD and how it's different than the fee structure at FBA. Now, when I say FBA, I'm simply referring to Fulfilled by Amazon, which is any of the hundreds of warehouses in the United States that Amazon utilizes to fulfill orders. Now, when we discuss the fee structures at AWD, it's very important to understand there are two types of fee structures, okay? By default, AWD has what they call the base rate. The base rate is the default rate, and then they have integrated rate, which is a discounted rate. Now, you'll want the integrated rate because it's discounted, and it's not hard to qualify for. So let's talk about that. Number one, what is the integrated rate and how do I qualify for it? The integrated rate is a cheaper discounted rate, and to qualify for it, AWD has kind of massaged this definition significantly over the last year, but the most recent way to qualify is that over a 4-month period, you have to inbound inventory to an AWD facility through one of Amazon's logistics services. If you're bringing it in from overseas, i.e. China, you should be using AGL, which is Amazon Global Logistics. If you're doing it via domestic, like inland, I did 3 of those just this week. You're using Amazon Partner Carrier. In the same way, if you were shipping to Amazon FBA and you choose Amazon Partner Carrier LTL, you'll do the same thing to send LTL shipments into AWD. So as long as you do that once within a 4-month period, you qualify for integrated rates, which are the better discounted rates. All right. Now, there's a few different rates. Number one, the one that is most obvious, is the storage rate, right? Whether you're storing your inventory in AWD or FBA, regardless of where you're storing it, you are paying a monthly storage rate that is based on the cubic feet of your widget. So they take your widget and they multiply, the length and the width and the height. They find out how how many cubic feet or a fraction of a cubic foot that widget takes. It's multiplied by the number of units that you have, so they come up with your total cubic feet in storage per month. All right, so, well, let's talk about FBA. At FBA, if you send your widgets to FBA, they're charging you 78 cents per cubic foot in storage every month, all right? But that's just during the normal part of the year. Right now, in Q4 from October to December 31, that astronomically goes up to $2.40 per cubic foot. A massive difference. So from 78 cents per cubic foot to $2.40 per cubic foot in Q4 peak season. Trust me, as someone who has lost a lot of money because I erroneously had way too much inventory at FBA during Q4. You don't want to be paying a lot of storage fees during Q4, all right? Amazon does not want you to use their FBA fulfillable warehouses as a storage warehouse for all your crap and for all your widgets, right, that aren't selling quickly. That's why they jack that price up to $2.40 per cubic foot. But if it's not the peak season, October through December, it's only 78 cents. But let's talk about AWD. AWD, the base rate is 48 cents per cubic foot. So like half almost. The integrated rate is 36 cents per cubic foot per month. So that is a substantial difference. It's 54% less of the normal rate. So just in the normal part of the year, non-peak, if you're storing your widgets at AWD, it's 54% less in storage rate fees than it would be if it were at FBA. But now when you're in peak season and FBA has jacked it up to $2.40 plus cents per cubic foot per month, you're at an 85% discount in storage costs by utilizing AWD. That's huge, right? Absolutely huge. So I had a client ask me the other day, where are we gonna see, they're like, you've got us sending to AWD all the time. You're pushing it. What we wanna know is, where are we gonna see this on our P&L, on our profit and loss sheet? And my response to them was, A, because we're sending big truckloads full of product to AWD in one single shipment to AWD instead of 5 optimized split shipments all over the country, you're going to save a lot on inbound costs. Number 2, you don't have to deal with inbound placement fees when you're going to AWD, nor do you have to worry about it when AWD replenishes your inventory from their reserve facility into Fulfilled by Amazon. So just the sheer absence of inbound placement fees or the requirement to spend all this extra money in LTL or partner carrier fees to get to 5 unique destinations to avoid the inbound placement fees, that alone is a big savings. And then I explained the storage costs. Depending on how much inventory you have, I've just explained that during the normal season, the storage cost is 54% less, and during peak season, it's 85% less. Huge savings, all right? So that's all about the storage fees. Now, there are a couple of other fees involved when utilizing AWD. Number 1 is a processing fee, and that is charged per master carton, per box, okay? That's the fee that AWD is gonna charge you when they move something, when the inventory moves. That's what they're gonna charge you per box. That's to pull it out of storage, put it on a pallet, do whatever they're gonna do to it, put the labels on it and send it. It's much kind of like the pick and pack fee that you would have at FBA. Now, the integrated rate is $2.13 per box. The base rate's $2.50, but as long as you're sending stuff in once every 4 months through Amazon Partner Carrier or AGL, you get integrated rate $2.13 per box. That's what they'll charge you for that. And then finally, people say, okay, I get it, but when they actually move the inventory from AWD and they auto replenish and drip it into FBA, do they do that for free? And the answer is no, okay? So you're still required to pay the freight to get your inventory into AWD. Side note again, I think that's still cheaper than trying to distribute it yourself to 5 optimized, Amazon optimized splits using Amazon Partner Carrier, okay? So you gotta pay that, and then you do have to pay when Amazon sends that from reserve storage into fulfillable warehouse. But it's cheap, folks. Y'all, it's cheap, all right? The base rate's $1 per cubic foot. The integrated rate, which everybody should be on integrated rates, right? The integrated rate's 85 cents per cubic foot. So you're able to move things for really, really, sometimes for a few bucks, you're doing it for a few bucks, okay? Now, there is a higher charge, and that's called the transportation charge. The transportation charge is higher if you're sending somewhere besides Amazon, all right? And that's gonna get me to question number 2. We've talked about the fees. Question number 2 is, what if I want my inventory to go somewhere else? For example, what if I want to send all my inventory to AWD because the storage rates are so great, but I don't necessarily want all that inventory going to Amazon. I want it to go to Walmart, WFS, or if you're a Wayfair seller and you utilize Castlegate, you want to have it dropped into Castlegate. When you want to do that, you're moving inventory to a destination that's not Amazon, a third-party destination, and they're happy to do that for you. Right now, as of the time of recording this video, that's $1.65 per cubic foot to move that inventory out. It's still a really, really, really good deal, okay? So we've talked about the fees, and then we've talked about what if I want it to go somewhere else. I had a client reach out, actually it was a subscriber to the YouTube channel, and reached out via email and said, I accidentally sent too much to AWD, and now I'm in a bind and I need some inventory back here at my house. I guess they're running their e-commerce business like many of us have from their garage, from their home. He's like, I need 3 cases sent back to me. How do I do that? Kind of like, on the Amazon side, it would be a removal order, but removal orders, you just get individual units trickled in from all the different warehouses, but AWD has everything at one place, all right? So that's called move inventory. And to do that, inside of the AWD portal, you just simply create a destination to have that moved to. So you can see a screenshot that I'm providing of where I set that up as an example to move inventory to my office here in Georgia. I set it up as like a distribution center, as a fulfillable place. I'm like, I want you to move 3 boxes or 1 box of widgets only here. In a situation like that, they're gonna charge me that processing fee of how many boxes they touch. They'll charge me the per box processing fee, and then they're gonna charge me that transportation fee, which is like $1.65 per cubic foot, because it's not going to Amazon. Otherwise, if you're on the integrated discount rates, it'd be 85 cents per cubic foot to go to Amazon. But you can definitely do that, and they encourage you to do that. This makes it so much easier for people who want to bring in an entire container or a whole lot of inventory and have it stored in one place, centralized, and then out of that centralized place, they want to feed inventory into FBA, into Amazon. They want to feed inventory to their Walmart fulfillment service account. They want to feed inventory to their Wayfair Castlegate account. They want to feed inventory to their own personal fulfillable warehouse, maybe at their corporate office, and so forth. Makes it very, very easy, okay? Question number 3, what happens when Amazon loses my inventory at AWD? And it's going to happen, right? It's basically the same as when it happens on the Seller Central FBA side. It's going to happen. Now, I will say, in my opinion, AWD is not up to speed yet quite on accounting for this the way it happens over on the FBA side. So you need to be responsible to pay attention to your inventory to kind of keep up with that, and then just open a case with Seller Central with their support and fight to make sure that you get that either recovered, found, or reimbursed for. All right, the next question, how long does it take to get my inventory into AWD? And especially in Q4 right now when I'm recording this video, people are seeing astronomical delays getting their inventory into a fulfillable warehouse. So let's say you ship LTL 6 pallets to FBA in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it got delivered like last week, but it's not even checked in yet because it's one of a bazillion truck containers that are out in the yard that they haven't even gotten to yet because they're just so overwhelmed. People are seeing 5 to 6 week delays getting their inbound products checked in at Amazon FBA warehouses. So they want to know, well, if I send it to AWD, am I going to have the same delay? Fair question. I can only answer off my personal experience and the experience of the clients that we represent in our agency at eComCatalyst. Right now, as October, we're seeing a 2 to 3 week delay at the West Coast AWD facility, maybe about a 2 week delay at the East Coast AWD facility. And then they have just now, within the last few weeks, launched a third one. Before it was just choose West Coast or East Coast. Now they have South Central, which is in Texas. That one, we're seeing inventory arrive and checked in and available within 1 to 2 business days. In addition to that, this must be like a swanky new big warehouse because Amazon really wants you to use it because they're congested at the West Coast. They're congested on the East Coast. So Amazon has a promo right now where through the end of the year, year. If you send to the South Central area in Texas, then that storage rate we talked about earlier in the first part of the video, where the integrated rate was 36 cents per cubic foot, they're offering you 20 cents flat rate per cubic foot storage through the end of the year if you have your inventory in the South Central AWD location in Texas. And the way you choose that is when you're setting up the send to Amazon flow. It's very much like sending a regular FBA shipment, only you're doing it from the Amazon warehousing and distribution side of Seller Central. And when you go into Seller Central and you choose Amazon warehousing and distribution and you do an inbound, it will ask you, and by default, it says Amazon will decide, okay? And usually right now, Amazon's automatically deciding to send it to South Central for you. But you can choose without any consequence, West Coast, East Coast, or South Central. If you go to South Central right now, again, this could change. I'm recording this early October. It's getting into that Texas facility much, much faster. And there is a promo of 20 cents flat rate per cubic foot storage throughout the end of the year. All right. So hopefully that helps you on that. Another question people have been asking me is, how do I remove inventory out? And, we just talked about that. It's called move inventory. And regardless of where you want to move it to, there's a way to get that inventory out of there. Now, I believe fully that you will save money using AWD. I believe fully that you cannot set it on auto replenish and forget and walk away. You need to pay attention to what's going on with it because there can be glitches. I sent some of my own widgets to AWD and they are completely out of stock at FBA. And even after they hit AWD, I didn't see any auto replenishment orders happening. So I went in and manually did it. You can always manually do that. And I would suggest it. Finally, the last thing I want to say strategically for Q4, and we were talking about how long does it take, right? If you're very low on fulfillable inventory in FBA, I would definitely send straight to FBA, okay? Because with AWD, you have to allow time, A, to ship into AWD, B, you have to allow time for AWD to receive it and check it in and make it available. And then you have to allow time for them to send it from AWD into a fulfillable warehouse. Now, not during peak season, that was taking 1 to 2 days to happen. Right now, it's 1 to 2 weeks, maybe. It's definitely slowing down, all right? But you expect that in October going into the height of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Q4 peak season. I hope this has been helpful. I'm sure you've got more questions. This is a new service. With something being brand new, people are hesitant to utilize it. Who likes change? Nobody really likes change, right? It's new and it's somewhat intimidating. I'm happy to say that at eComCatalyst in our agency, we've connected directly with an AWD rep. So I've had a few questions that I wasn't even quite sure how to answer. And our AWD rep has been awesome about sending those answers back to me. A few of them, even she didn't know the answer. She had to go to her people and ask. But I've actually shown her this YouTube channel and all these comments and all these videos, and they're like hyped up. They're excited about the content and answering your questions. So if you have questions specifically about this or anything else, leave a comment on the video. I try to answer those personally. I like to end every video by thanking you for watching because I recognize there's a bazillions of gurus out there telling you how to sell on Amazon and things like that. Not many of them have a 20+ year, 2+ decade history of selling on Amazon and other third-party marketplaces with over $100 million in revenue like I do. Not many of them have been through the ups and downs, everything imaginable that you can think of, the experience, the networking, the connections that we have. So whereas there's plenty of people to listen to, my hope is that with myself here, you found someone you can trust that you believe is really, giving you information that you can take to the bank, pun intended, because we want you to take it to the bank. The way you reward us back for that means the world to me is hit that subscribe button. I look at these metrics and I wonder why it is that 80% of the people who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Don't let that be you, all right? If you're still watching this thing right now, you're engaged, right? Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, be notified when I release something new, get a push notification when I go live to do Q&A, and even better, leave a comment and say, hey, thank you for the video. I just subscribed. Man, that makes my day. I jump for joy when I see that. I really appreciate it if you do it. Hey, thanks for trusting me with your e-commerce business. If we can ever help, visit us, eComCatalyst.com. Check us out there, and thanks for watching.